Christmas, Why the Most Wonderful Time of the Year is a Sensory and Social Challenge by Jennifer Palumbo. My Neurodivergent Journey, a Reflection on Chaos and Guilt. Growing up in a large Portuguese family, Christmas was defined by big noise, big meals, and big emotions. The air was thick with the clamor of grown-ups talking over one another, the sound of constant laughter, loving, and sometimes not so loving arguments over coffee, the continuous arrival of more family with more food and presents, and the shouts from the kitchen for help. These are wonderful memories, but they were also loud, super social, and profoundly exhausting. I loved it, and yet I also couldn't handle it. Back then, I lacked the language. Words like autistic, ADHD, sensory overload, or social burnout. All I had was the sinking feeling that something was fundamentally wrong with me. I felt forced to perform and act the right way because everyone else seemed to thrive in the chaos that left me silently shutting down on the inside. Although I loved spending time with my cousins and the rest of the family, I was always so exhausted and felt intensely guilty for it. This struggle only worsened as I became a teenager. I could never understand why I both loved the idea of the holidays and dreaded the huge gatherings on both sides of my family. Now, after years of unmasking and raising 4 neurodivergent children, I finally understand the truth. Nothing was wrong with me. The heartbreak of difference. Large gatherings and family parties, even ones I cherished, were inherently difficult, and the holidays amplified this challenge. Christmas hits differently when your brain processes the world in a non-typical way. And when you grow up in a culture where being together is everything, that difference can feel like heartbreak. I unintentionally drifted apart from my extended family, a result I now realize stemmed from my inability to understand my own mind, lack the words to express my struggles, and the embarrassment I felt. Unaware that I was experiencing high anxiety and burnout, I started attending less, particularly large gatherings involving people I didn't know well. I risked offending people, as no one understood social anxiety, and saying, "I love you, but I can't go. It's too much for me," felt out of the question in our culture, especially in my formative years when the pressure to attend was high. This is why I am so passionately driven to advocate for other families who might be going through the same thing. If only I knew then what I know now. Masking the social chameleon during the holidays. Most autistic and ADHD adults spend the entire year masking, trying to keep up with already heavy neurotypical expectations. The holidays are meant to be a time to connect, but genuine connection is impossible when you're grappling with internal struggles and desperately trying to appear calm and collected. The holiday season, Christmas and New Year's, often brings large gatherings, not the intimate, smaller ones that allow for true relaxation and connection. Instead, the season demands you contend with more people and greater unpredictability, increased noise levels and people talking over each other, an overwhelming amount of food and smells, higher expectations for participation and mood, a surge in greetings, hugs and kisses, more intense emotions concentrated in one room than the nervous system can comfortably handle. To everyone around me, it looked like a celebration, but my brain registered overload. My cultural background emphasized social duty and communal traditions. Slipping away or asking for a quiet area would have drawn unwanted attention and led to awkward questions and explanations. I simply endured, believing it was what was required of me. I participated with a mixed heart, wishing for the time to pass and looking forward to smaller family gatherings once the main events were over. I didn't realize I was masking. I only knew that I felt wrong. Holiday sensory overwhelm is real. Many people mistakenly believe the struggle is just simple anxiety or shyness, failing to realize the reality of sensory overload. It's not one thing, it's the cumulative effect of many. Here are just a few examples that many neurodivergent people may deal with. The blinking lights and visual clutter of decorations. The different strong smells of so much food and the pressure to eat it to avoid offending anyone. Loud music and the high-pitched sound of wrapping paper tearing. Conversation layered on conversation layered on conversation. The constant movement of people and the unpredictability of schedules. The overall emotional intensity of every gathering. It is incredibly overwhelming to deal with all of that, combined with the continuous effort of scripting what to say, performing normal behavior, and following complex social rules to blend in. Now that I have my own autistic and ADHD children, attending large gatherings while managing my own issues is extremely difficult. I no longer avoid gatherings, but I've learned to navigate them better. This ability came years later through the practice of addressing my children's needs first. My own neurodivergent issues, which I wasn't even fully aware of until 3 years ago, went unaddressed because I was in survival mode, setting my needs aside to concentrate on my boys. The emotional layer. The challenge isn't only sensory, it's the profound emotional weight, too. Watching my own kids struggle with gatherings, social norms, and expectations is draining. Christmas touches wounds I didn't know were still tender. The guilt of not being as social as expected. The sadness of drifting from a family we deeply love. The confusion of being overwhelmed by people we actually cherish. The shame of feeling too sensitive for family and friends. The exhaustion from the pressure to be on all day. The anxiety over managing complex schedules and travel. If you grew up in a big, loud family, December magnifies everything. The contrast between what Christmas was supposed to be and what your brain could handle can feel like its own kind of ache. Creating a sustainable holiday. Solutions for neurodivergent families. To foster a holiday experience that is manageable, sustainable, and genuinely joyful, families can implement accommodations that honor different processing needs. A designated, calm corner or safe room, a quiet space away from the main gathering with comfortable seating, dim lighting, and sensory tools, weighted blanket, fidgets. Visual schedule agenda, a simple printed schedule of the gathering's events, e.g., arrival, meal, gift exchange, departure, to reduce anxiety about the unknown. Low and natural lighting. Use dimmers, soft lamps, or string lights instead of bright overhead or flashing lights. No or low background music. Keep music off or at a very low volume to avoid auditory overstimulation. Shorter gathering duration. Plan for a shorter visit or allow guests to arrive late or leave early without needing to apologize or explain. Clear communication about noise, touch. Explicitly ask guests to respect others' personal space, avoid sudden loud noises, and ask before hugging or touching. Sensory break. Check-ins. Establish a visual signal for needing quiet time, or have the host offer brief, non-intrusive check-ins. The greatest gift. Radical self-acceptance. The holiday season, while marketed as a time of universal joy, presents a unique set of sensory and emotional challenges for neurodivergent individuals. Instead of forcing oneself into neurotypical standards of celebration, the true act of self-care is radical self-acceptance. This means actively recognizing and validating your specific needs. If fluorescent lights cause migraines, give yourself permission to skip the brightly lit mall. If unstructured small talk is overwhelming, communicate your need for a quiet corner or a structured activity. If the emotional weight of family expectations feels too heavy, establish clear, firm boundaries around your time and energy. Ultimately, understanding your neurodivergent needs, whether sensory or emotional, is the greatest gift you can give yourself and your loved ones this holiday season. This proactive approach replaces the familiar cycle of guilt and confusion with genuine compassion and the creation of truly meaningful connections built on authenticity rather than obligation. By honoring your true self, you not only protect your well-being, but also teach others how to love and respect you exactly as you are, fostering a holiday experience that is sustainable, peaceful, and genuinely joyful. Share your experience. Do you relate to these feelings of loving your family, but struggling with the sensory and social demands of large gatherings? If you are on the spectrum or have kids or family members on the spectrum, what are your do's and don'ts for navigating the holidays? Share your best tips, experiences, etc. in the comment section on my Facebook page.